Welcome everyone to Kmtp's podcast 4K, the second coming. I'm one of your hosts, watery infected eye guy.
Yeah, good point. And I'm here to tell you that Walmart's old mascot is not impressed.
And I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, we're just a bucket of cheer this week.
Yes.
So we are here again to do another Black and Blue album. Uh, excuse me. Without Love, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And if you don't know by now, this has Tommy Thayer in it. You should know that, hopefully. Quick little note here. After some of the input we've gotten from our requests to hear from you guys, we did decide to cut out the fat from the list, which really it only ended up being one album, the Michael Bolton album. So we think everything else that's on the list is going to be fairly strong and get your guys' attention. So there's no
fat.
what.
He's super fat.
Yeah.
We're like, we can't.
So hopefully you guys will be more interested in what's left on the list, and there's a lot of good stuff and nothing that's trust us, there's no more Laura Nero type albums or Michael Bolton things like that. So
Everything's a little more directly linked to Kiss now.
Right, we're quickly approaching the Fraley's Comet, Vinnie Vincent, all that typical stuff. So yeah, it's all good. Well, let's see. Since we're recording today on Friday the 22nd, just wanted to kind of give a little mention since it'll pass by the time this is up. But of course, here 2 days from now, the 24th, is the anniversary of Eric Carr's passing. Also Freddie Mercury for that matter. But of course, we're kind of focusing on Eric Carr on this podcast. So, rest in peace to Eric as always. And 1991, still remember it like it was yesterday when I heard the news, and it sucks. So just wanted to throw that out there. Nothing else. Well, Kiss played for Sharks.
Sorta.
Without Paul.
Yeah.
It was another Spinal Tap moment from the footage that I saw for it. And I don't know. Whatever. It's just another one of them things.
An interesting publicity stunt. That was about it. I gotta say, I watched a video of Dr. Love, and even just the audio, I don't know if it was a camera, if it was a phone or what, but it sounded really good. Like the drums were nice and crisp, and the mix was good. I was like, wow, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I guess none of the Sharks were interested, so none of them came up to the boat or any of that stuff. They should have threw some chum in the water. That would have got them.
Yes.
The chum and the music. They could have threw the Michael Bolton albums as chum.
Push him right off the side.
All right. Well, let's just get into it then. I think that's about all going on right now.
Indeed. Hey, if any of you didn't see, run over and check out our Facebook page. We are currently running a Facebook-only massive Kiss song tournament, including every single Kiss song original. No, not even really original, because there's the covers. Anything from the main studio albums, essentially. We're going to be doing a huge tournament, just 3 mashups every couple of weeks, and the first 3 are up now. Getting some good response, so if you haven't voted, get in there.
Yes, absolutely. And, we still haven't, figured out the direction, but those votes may tie into when we decide to kind of go back to the main discography. However we do that, or, when we do it, we may wait until this whole entire Second Coming thing's done. Who knows? We haven't really thought of that yet, how we're going to approach it. So definitely get the votes in, and there's some interesting matchups, man.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you literally just randomize everything. You didn't strategically put this song with this song just to get a reaction or anything like that. I mean, you literally randomized the songs, and it came up with some interesting matchups here. So
Yeah, some of the times, as I was like creating the big round one tier, when I was looking at all the randoms, it was like, nah, that can't possibly be random. Even some of the weird ones you wouldn't expect to be in there, because we put it all in there.
yeah,
Fanfare is its own track. I don't remember which one it's up against, but whatever one it is, it made so much sense to pair those two together that I was like, how? How did this? Because all
I
I did,
don't,
I made a huge list of every Kiss song. It was a numbered list that I just typed myself, and then I went to a random number generator and put in 262 because that's how many songs there were total, and it put those numbers in order. So the number generator didn't have any knowledge of Kiss or any known connection. It just gave me 262 numbers in random order, and then I put those Kiss songs together.
nice. Yeah, I was looking at a lot of those matchups, and I'm just like sitting there like arguing with myself, like, oh my god, like I don't know which one to pick. No,
Nope.
this one's better. No.
Yes, that will be very interesting to see what us and all of you, I guess you could kind of say, view as the ultimate Kiss song. What is our collective opinion?
Yes. And again, that's definitely another reason to check out our Facebook page. I mean, hopefully you guys, again, if there's any separation versus YouTube and Facebook as far as our viewers or anything, hopefully you are on Facebook as well. So that's definitely another reason to check out the page. Um, if not, I mean, if we start hearing a little input on these videos about it, maybe there's a way we can somehow integrate it into this as well for YouTube viewers and whatnot. So, yeah, so get those votes in. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. All right, so some comments. We did have a few comments this time, which is cool. It's cool to see. Did we scare everybody into coming back? Is that no. But our first comment is on our Blackjack episode, the original Blackjack album. From a name I don't recognize. I don't know, new viewer or new commenter maybe. Michael Wright, who
Okay.
says the Blackjack album is a lost classic. The second album is not as good, but very close, especially the song Welcome to the World, which I think is the heaviest song they've recorded. But I just love this first album. For me, they are very close in sound to Bad Company. Tom Dowd was definitely the wrong producer, even though he is great at Southern rock. Blackjack wanted to be heavier. Can you imagine Andy Johns or Eddie Kramer producing? That would have been amazing. And I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Tom kept wanting the band to sound softer, unfortunately, and pushing the keyboards with some of Bruce's guitars pushed back. Michael Bolton's vocals are great, but sometimes strained a little because Tom was pushing Bolton to sing a different way. In fact, Tom was not very nice to Bolton at all. You guys should know that Bruce would be with Bolton all the way up to his The Hunger album, which, by the way, is the album we just axed, and left halfway to join Kiss. He played on the Michael Bolton album and Everybody's Crazy with his brother Bob. Yep.
And of course, that's one of the reasons we cut that album is we found out Bruce doesn't even play on the entire thing. And again, that's kind of the prerequisite for making it onto our list is said member needs to be on the entire album. So
Right.
two things there that knock that off, thankfully.
Yeah, definitely not complaining about knocking that one out.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up to the Black and Blue episode, the last time we did Black and Blue, we got we got a comment from good old Rain in Adamstown, who we haven't heard from for a little while. I started reading the comment before I finished. He says, Black and Blue was a good band, but not on the highest level. I give this album a 6. Excuse me. I think Without Love has a little more quality and better vocals. I like Rat, Crew, or Keel more.
Hmm.
He also gave us his votes for that album, which we factored in. Like I said, he gave it a 6. He said that most of this album is, it's okay, but faceless 80s hard rock, which I think I would agree with. That's fairly good. His top 3 were Chains Around Heaven, Hold On to 18, and Autoblast, which he noted loved this song. He also says, can't wait to hear your view on the Creatures of the Night sister album. Indeed. So his factoring his votes into Black and Blue, surprisingly, pretty much didn't change anything. We've still got our overall average at 6 out of 10, and our top three stayed the same. Auto Blast in first place, I'm the King in second place, and the Strong Will Rock in third place. So you can definitely tell we agree with Rain's list there.
Yeah. Is he referring to the Wendy O. Williams album? Is that
Yes.
okay? You know, I've heard a little feedback from people that a lot of people said they were surprised at how we didn't care that much for the album as much as others do. I mean, I was just talking to Javier um, through text message yesterday, and he was saying it too. And I'm like, I was like, it's solid musically, but I really think overall it's her vocals is what it came down to.
Yeah.
That just made it a little rough, but I mean, yeah, it's cool. And at the time, I'm sure it was, you know, better received than maybe it is now. But um, yeah, I really think that's all it is to it. So you know, hopefully it didn't sound like we were trashing the album. Excuse me, because I mean it's not like we hate it, but hey, that was just our honest opinion on it. So
What can you do? We also got a comment from Rain on that episode, on the Wendy O. Williams episode. An interesting take here. So I would imagine he agrees with all of that. He says this is one of my island albums. All is perfect. The production, the songs, the power, the cover. Love the vocals. Knew the Fantastic Plasmatics video, The Damned, and Creatures of the Night before I ordered this LP as it came out. Had to wait 4 weeks before I got it. The perfect sister album to Creatures. A big fat 10 for an album I can't live without. Problem, I cannot rate the songs because all are number one for me, so please give every song the same amount of points. Great episode, and also he noted, no, this Michael Bolton guy has way too many albums, give him a 0.
yes, see right there you go, perfect example of how some people love that album. And could you imagine like you're on a boat in the ocean and you're getting close to this island and you hear this noise echoing off the island and you think, oh man, there's a bunch of vultures on the island, but then you realize it's really the Wendy O. Williams album and it's her vocal.
And you promptly steer far away.
No.
Siren.
Again, if
she's
you guys love the album, totally cool. That's awesome. We
Yeah.
and it's great to hear from you again, Rain. So yes, please keep it up.
Absolutely. And that did his, or did we decide her? I'm sorry, my memory is so terrible. I don't know if Rain in Adamstown is his or her. I know you've told us already. I know you have you told us, but my brain is going. Anyway, the 10 out of 10 for that album did bring the Wendy O. Williams overall rating to 6.4 out of 10, whereas before it was at 5.9. So that knocked it up a bit. The list on our list there. Also got a comment from Javier Boster on Everybody's Crazy, last week's episode. He says, hey guys, been a while since I last made a comment. I wanted to let you know that since I have not made a comment, it does not mean I have not watched every episode of The Second Coming. Although I am not familiar with all the albums you've done episodes on, I have enjoyed the episodes. I think you should keep going with these episodes. Keep up the good work.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that.
Very much.
And also want to say thanks for the shout out. There was another Facebook post I ran across in a KISS group, basically just asking what podcasts, people listen to, and he gave us a shout out in his answers. So much appreciated, bro.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that brings us up to, we did get Steve and Rochelle McGowan's picks for the Without Love album, the one we're doing today. Real quick here, Steve gave this album a 5 out of 10. His top 3 were Rockin' on Heaven's Door, Strange Things, and Miss Mystery.
Was Rockin' on Heaven's Door is number 1?
Is 3.
Okay.
Rochelle gave this one a 6 out of 10, and her top 3 were We Got the Fire, Two Wrongs Don't Make It Love, and Strange Things.
Nice.
Interestingly, they both have Bombastic Plastic as the dead last, so not on the McGowan list there.
Wow. It sounds like Rochelle was kind of more of a fan of kind of the later part of the album there with
Yeah.
those songs that she picked.
Right.
Interesting.
Okay, I think that does it for comments. So some album info then, I think.
All right.
Sweet. So Wikipedia doesn't have a whole lot on this. This is a surprisingly empty page here. Without Love is the second studio album by the American band Black and Blue. They're still calling them glam metal, and I just don't know if that's right. This album was released on August 27th, 1985. So again, right around the time of Asylum. This was recorded at Little Mountain Sound Studios, Mushroom Studios, and Ocean Sound Studios, all in Vancouver, Canada. So it's one of those albums. Yeah, I'm sorry,
One of those-
racism just doesn't work against Canada.
One of them
Blame Canada.
Ha ha.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
Hey,
Canada.
Yes. This was produced by Bruce Fairbairn, which we all ought to recognize that name, same guy that produced Psycho Circus. Interestingly, too, looking through the personnel, this album was engineered and co-mixed by Bob Rock.
Oh.
Yeah, which many of you should know from Metallica. He produced the Black Album and also several of their ones after that, Load and Reload and Garage Incorporated, all that.
Motley Crue as well.
Right. Lots of good stuff. I do believe both Bruce and Bob had something to do with Bon Jovi for a while, too.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the band, everything pretty much stays the same. We've got Jamie St. James on lead and backing vocals, Tommy Thayer on guitar and backing vocals, Jeff Warner on guitars, Patrick Young on bass, and Pete Holmes on drums. We've also got Jim Valance on the electronic drums, Adam Baum doing additional guitar, Dave Pickle, I don't know, Doug Johnson, and also Steve Porcaro, which is one of the keyboardists of Toto playing keyboards.
Nice.
Yeah. Also Mike Reno, who did backing vocals on We Got the Fire. So a much smaller personnel list than last week's album, the Everybody's Crazy, which had like a whole
Steve Pickle, huh?
Steve Pickle, yeah, or Dave Pickle.
Dave Pickle.
Dave Vlasic.
Dave.
Is that any relation of yours?
Dave Dillspear. Yeah, everyone knows the Clausen pickles are the best. Come on.
Clearly.
They really are.
I don't know why they all come in, tiny bite size though, but I don't know what they're trying to say.
Couldn't imagine.
Screw you guys. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention, I had a feeling that Wendy O. Williams album was gonna end up being one of the most popular albums on the list overall, because I knew how a lot of people view that album. So
Right.
Very interesting.
Right. I gotta say, I kind of wish that I hadn't been hyped up for it. I feel like it would have got a higher rating from me if I hadn't been so disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh.
I kind of wish I could just hear a version of that album with Gene singing every song, like the one on the Vault.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, let's jump in. So you guys have the right order this time?
Yeah. Yes, I took the order from Wikipedia this time rather than YouTube.
Yeah, I noticed Steve. I saw where Steve mentioned something about was it a Japanese bonus track?
Yes,
And it was a cover.
An Aerosmith cover. Yeah.
Wow, that would have been kind of cool, but unfortunately, that's not on the regular version we went with. But I'd almost like to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. So kicking off the album is "Rockin' on Heaven's Door." This is my number 4. Very cool. Very anthemic song to kick off the album, man. Just very, very positive and upbeat. And I really enjoyed how all of a sudden the tempo just changed out of the blue.
Yeah.
When it went into that solo section. That was it was kind of like, whoa, it was like you're just flying down the road and all of a sudden, bam, make a quick left or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, great opening to the album there.
Am I going next?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. That's what I said too. This one was my number 5, and I said that too. I think it was a solid opener. I think it had solid vocals and a good solo. And like you, when the tempo changed, it kind of hit you out of the blue, but it wasn't a bad thing. Like it was good. Like normally I've heard other songs like that, and it's just like, oh, why did they do that? But it worked for that song. I think it was pretty cool. It was unexpected, but it was cool. I liked it a lot.
Absolutely.
Yep. I'm blowing the load early here. This is my number 1.
Okay.
Uh, I noted, yeah, we're definitely still in the 80s.
Yeah.
The title is really corny, and I was pretty convinced as soon as I saw this, like, I'm not gonna like this. This is stupid. Why would you call your song something so close to knocking on heaven's door?
You're right. Right.
But then the song just got me. It caught me and took me along. The chorus was super catchy, probably the catchiest chorus on the whole album, at least for me, I think. And then yeah, I just noted, whoa, that middle. It just caught
Wow.
me completely off guard. That was one of my favorite parts of the song. And then the little clean part at the end of the song. It was a
Mm.
really nice touch. It was an eerie melody, again completely unexpected, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was kind of with you on that. I was really hoping that they weren't gonna kind of sing the chorus like in the tune of "Knocking on Heaven's Door," but change it to rocking. Like, please don't be like that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I was fully prepared to complain about that. I was like, oh, I got nothing. This is a good song.
Nice surprise.
Yes, it was. Track number 2, we have "Without Love." This is my number 6. Again, just another very positive message from this song. First 2 tracks, it just really kind of makes you feel good listening to it. Kind of reminded me, like, yeah, this is what a lot of 80s hard rock slash some of the metal. There was a lot of that kind of positive stuff at that time, and kind of nice to hear that again. But it kind of sounds like it's kind of giving you that message too, like, hey, you better get your act together, or you're going to end up spending the rest of your life, all alone. Kind of one of them things. You need to find the right person and settle down, basically, and stop doing all the dumb things you've done.
Yeah, this one was my number 9. Um, it has a good message. Like I do feel like it had a really positive message to it. And overall, it was a good song, but I just feel like it was kind of flat, just in the way that it kind of just don't feel like there was much like variety to it. It
Hmm.
just kind of felt like it was the same through the whole thing. But I mean, it had a really good message, and it was a good song. But that's the only reason why it kind of was so low on my list, was because there wasn't much to it. I don't think there wasn't enough to it for me musically, and but the message is really good for it. I really do like the message that they were saying in it.
Nice.
This one was my number 2. Um, the song gave me a pretty hardcore Def Leppard vibe, which, especially with the vocals, kind of continued through a lot of the album. But this one, being the second song, really starting to dive down into the album, and man, I really enjoyed the production throughout the whole album. But this song was where I really noticed, like, the highs are good, the lows are good, the drums sound nice and full, the guitars have a good tone, and you can hear the bass, which
Yeah.
is always a massive plus for any album. So yeah, this caught me good.
So, spoiler here, Luke's just ranking them in the order of the album. So,
Yes.
next we have "Ride the Light." I'm at "Stop the Lightning."
Ironic.
This one's my number 9. Um, I don't know. I kind of like what you just said on the last song, Savannah. I wasn't hearing a lot that really was getting me on this, but I did like that little, I don't know, I guess you can call it a breakdown section. And, there was this real low end, like bass gong type of thing that they were hitting, which, of course, I love that kind of stuff. So that was kind of the one thing that really stood out to me on this song, unfortunately. So next to last for me.
Yeah, this one was low for me. It was my number 7. Um, it was funny that Luke said in the last one that he got a Def Leppard vibe because the beginning of this one gave me a Def Leppard vibe. It was just the beginning. Like I've heard a Def Leppard song. I can't remember and place it right now, but I've heard one like that. That it just the beginning of it. I was like, what? This sounds familiar. Like I think this was in a Def Leppard song. Um, and then yeah, it was kind of just. I mean, it was okay. Like it was just okay. It wasn't high or low. It was just okay.
Mm.
Um, and I also noted here that it had that cheesy keyboard that it had going on there. That just made me laugh. I was like, "That's so funny."
That was probably one of the hot albums at that time, wasn't it? Def Leppard. What would it have been?
Pyromania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm sure a lot of people were heading for that sound at that time.
yeah.
Right.
I think though it was the beginning was my favorite part of the whole song. That the opening.
Mm.
Then after that, it was kind of just, oh, this is okay, but it's just okay.
Right, right.
A lot of people probably jumping in to fill that gap too, because this would have been while Rick Allen was still recovering from having lost his arm,
Oh, yeah,
in
true.
that massive gap between Pyromania and Hysteria. So yeah, probably a lot of bands were trying to jump on that wagon and fill that popular '80s band slot.
Yeah, because they probably thought Def Leppard was done at the time. It's like, what are they going to do unless they get a new drummer? And
Right. Yeah, this one was my number 6. Um, I liked the song musically and melodically, but I did not like the lyrics. The lyrics I thought were weird. The sort of weird metaphor between a thunderstorm and people fighting just
yeah,
didn't quite do it for me. I
Yeah.
feel like it's an okay metaphor, but I didn't feel like it was done that well. Yeah, and I also noted the synths and the keyboards just had a weird tone. It didn't really. I don't know that it didn't match the song. It just didn't catch me right.
okay. Next up, we have Nature of the Beach, number 7 for me. This, of course, big surprise by the title, but it's a very kind of summer type of song. And, basically, it's your typical 80s, girl on the beach is the girl of your fantasies type of song, that type of deal. Kind of generic to me, so that's why I put it at number 7.
Yeah, for me, this one was the very bottom. It was number 10 for me. I just, I wrote that the very first thing I wrote was, is this a Beach Boys song? Because it literally sounds like, it didn't like so much like his voice vocally, but like the lyrics and the vibe that I got from it, it just kind of sounds like it could have been a Beach Boys song. Like they covered a Beach Boys song. Like that's what it sounded like.
Mm.
And I thought it felt kind of out of character, and it was just corny for this band, I think. And I mean, I've heard other bands do that too, where they'll release a song and it's like, what? Like that is so just like not even close to what you guys ever do. Like it was very out of character for me. I was not a fan of this one at all. I mean, I felt like it was just it just was weird. I don't think it belonged on this album. I don't think it was just weird for me.
There's definitely some weird flavors on this album. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Number 7 for me as well. Uh, First off, who did they let come up with the song titles on this album? Because
Had to be Bob Rock.
yeah, shoot that guy, please. Yeah, I just did not care for this one as much as the others. As soon as it started, I was like, eh. The swing time, no pun intended, wasn't catching me, and that kind of continued for all of the songs in that sort of jumpy swing time throughout the album. But
Mhm.
yeah, the stupid lyrics, stupid title. No, thank you.
So next up we have Miss Mystery. This is my number 5. Really, really enjoyed the guitar work on this one. I thought this was one of the better ones in my opinion, and enjoyed the vocals and harmonies a lot more on this as well versus the other tracks. Um, And I don't know, there's something about that title, Miss Mystery. I really like that. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yep, this one was my number 6. Um, and it for me, it felt like the typical '80s love song, the vibe that it had going on.
Mm.
And it had a really pretty solo, is how I described it, because it wasn't really like hard, but it wasn't corny and cheesy either at the same time. It just kind of flowed real smoothly with this song. However, I will note that me and Luke watched the music video to this song, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, I am so, like, when we watched, I was like, what is even going on? Like, what is the point of this video? I don't even understand. Like, it didn't make any sense to me at all. But overall, the song, I think, is really, for a ballad, it's good. Like, I like it. It's got a mystery to it, if you will.
Yeah. I haven't watched
I
that yet. I'll
overall
have to check it
enjoyed it.
out.
Oh, it was weird. They
It's
were on an
something.
airplane, like on the wings of it, and then some weird storyline. I don't know. It was weird. If somebody can please explain to me what this video means, I would appreciate it.
Yes. Let's find the director and
Yes, be like, what were you
what were you
going for?
thinking?
What was the angle?
Yeah, a big hole opens up in the bottom of the plane at one point, and a guy on the plane is freaking out and pointing it, and the stewardesses are just like, "Calm down, sir." Like,
They don't even notice it. Yeah,
nobody is upset at all except this one guy, and also there's just Black and Blue playing on the wing,
yeah.
and nobody is concerned.
It's so odd.
This is normal procedure, sir. There's always a hole in the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, that interestingly is one of my first notes too. This is my number 4. But I noted that we watched the music video for this a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. Didn't get it at all. Not a
Yeah.
massive fan of the song, but the production is just perfect for it. This is exactly the type of drums I was talking about last week for some of those Michael Bolton ballads. That big 80s production is that's what this type of song needs, and they did it perfect.
Right. Totally agree on that. So next up we have Swing Time. This is my number 2. Title says it all. It's like metal swing. Never heard anything like this before until now. Yeah, it's a pretty fun song. I like the kind of call and response with the vocals and guitar. And, honestly, I was kind of surprised how much I ended up liking this. I was kind of, leaning towards, it's probably going to be the first 2 tracks of the album will be the 2 good ones. And but I don't know, this one really caught me. Again, it was that different flavor, and just, I don't know, really dug the fun of it, I guess.
Yeah, this one was my number 8. And it was the same for me. Like, I think the only reason why it was kind of so low is just because I liked most of the other songs better. But overall, like, I thought it was a really good song. Like, I wrote that it was a cool rock and jam. Like,
Yeah.
it was metal swing. Like, it made me want to just dance. Like, it's one of those that if they performed it live and nobody was dancing, they'd be dancing by the end of this one.
Oh, yeah.
It just had that kind of, like, that groove that just makes you want to, like, move around, and not sit still. It has you tapping, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but it was definitely different. Like, I wasn't expecting anything like that. Like, when I heard the title, I thought, oh man, what's that? Like, that's not going to be like swing music, is it? And then it kind of was, but it was not bad. Like, it was good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was genuinely surprised by it, and I didn't hate it. I'm gonna not lie.
Yeah. They kept it, fairly heavy for what it could be, and
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Swing Time, Luke?
This is my number 10. Oh man, this one just annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie. Now I'll tell you what, this one would have been high on my list if not for the tap dancing. And because I noted that the weird clapping sound is getting in the way of the drums, I feel like, and then later, like kind of around the solo, it's like, okay, no, that's tap dancing, and I think that's the noise we've been hearing this whole time. No, and it just ruined it. Though I will admit, though, the main riff, super cool. It gave me a big like Van Halen vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Bombastic Plastic. This is my number 3. Um, Song starts off with a powerful drum intro. Again, kind of like they were going for that creature sound, but just not quite there. Couldn't quite nail it. Um, really not sure what the song was about. I actually listened to it twice trying to figure that out. But I really felt that Tommy's killer solo really saved the song, and that's one of the main reasons it ended up at number 3. Of course, that drum intro didn't quite hurt either. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was my number 4. Um, I put it pretty high because it was. Um, I liked the groove that I had to it. It sounded like it was fairly simple and not really too complicated, but it made it work like that, I think. I think if they would have tried to do like more with it, it wouldn't have been as good. Like the
right,
fact that it was a little bit more of a simple, you know, to it, like it had a simple groove, to the point. But yeah, the lyrics were kind of confusing. It was like what exactly like are you getting at? But um yeah, overall, I mean it was just it was kind of simple, but it wasn't bad that it was simple.
right.
Number 9 for me on this one. Kind of agreed with Steve and Rochelle. Again, who is naming these songs? Uh, it sounded too kind of like the drum tone changed for the intro of this one, and I don't know if maybe we were just hearing some things different because we were hearing the drums by themselves as opposed to in the context of the mix, or whether there was something a little bit different there. Well, not bad, just I was surprised to hear it change. Um, Generally, the production on this song I felt a little more empty. It didn't feel quite as exciting. I don't know if maybe the guitars were mixed quieter or something not quite as powerful or forceful, and it made it feel a little bit lifeless. It's not terrible. I definitely listened to the song again, but it gave me a weird feel that by the time it was over, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that one's done.
Yeah, like going back to the album info when you mentioned electronic drums, there were definitely times that I was thinking like, yeah, that sounds like electric drums, but then I'm like, it's the '80s, so it's just the drum sound they got. But
Yeah.
so yeah, there was definitely you could definitely tell the differences in there. Let's see, 3 songs to go. Next is "We Got the Fire." This is my number 10. Um, I mean, overall, it's a good song. I mean, there isn't anything bad that I really have to say about any of the songs, but this is just the one that nothing really stood out to me. I mean, but again, it was a good, solid song. I'm not trying to say it's horrible, but just ended up, being the least favorite one on this listen. So number 10.
This one was my number 2. Um, uh, the solo in this song was my favorite on the whole album.
Okay.
Like it just caught my attention. It was really good. I feel like they did it. He did a really good job with that, and the drum fill that was kind of at the end was really cool. It wasn't very long. It was just a short little thing, but it fit. Like it was a good ending. It made it
Hmm.
a good ending, I think. And all around, I feel like it was a good, solid song. Like, but that solo, I think, is why it was so high on my list. Is because, I mean, I was just that out of all the ones I heard on the album, that one was my favorite. I think for sure.
It fit like a glove.
Yes.
Aha!
I'll tell you what, I'm loving these rankings. It's going to be very, very different this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Number 3 on this one for me. This one felt more like the first two to me. Like it fit a little bit better, and I also noted that drum fill at the end was really cool.
Hmm.
Um, to me, I think I would have finally stopped complaining about albums with terrible endings if this one had ended the album.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. I agree.
All right. So, as we mentioned with Rochelle, this is kind of the part of the album that she seemed to be more of a fan of. So, The next one here, Strange Things. I guess I agree with that because this is my number one. Again, I was kind of shocked. I was again expecting Rockin' on Heaven's Door will be the generic number one, but I don't know. It kind of this one to me had a different feel. It almost had like a I don't know like a Queensryche type of feel to it, like the
Yep.
synthesizers and just the different, almost like a different type of vocal with it. Um, Again, I mean, like any other time, it doesn't need to be mentioned, but I mention it again. Great guitar work. I mean, that's pretty much all the way through. But then that weird little thing at the very end just again completely caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's another reason I ended up liking it so much because it was just that unexpected. And like for a minute, I literally thought the file I was listening to was messed up and it somehow got some weird thing. I mean, it was that weird. Like, it caught me off that much. But yeah, really enjoyed it, man.
Yep. This was also my number one.
Nice.
Yes, I loved it. It had a real eerie beginning, and I love that. There's lots of songs that I love that start just in that same way. They have that eerie kind of give you goosebumps kind of thing, like you're standing in a cemetery kind of thing, and you got lots of spirits around you kind of thing.
Yes.
I like the layered vocals. That was awesome, and then the ending with the keyboard that was really great. But then, yeah, when it went into Danny Boy, I looked at Luke and I said, "Is it still playing, or did something happen?" Like he goes, "No, it's still playing." I said, "Oh, okay, all right, it's supposed to be there then." But yeah, it threw me off, but it was cool. Like I didn't mind that at all. It was totally unexpected. Again, something that you just don't see coming at all. Like
Yeah.
you don't predict that at all. Like that would have been a cool ending to this album too, though. I think, like if they would have ended it like that, it would have been like
Yeah.
strange but not hateable. Like that's pretty
Hmm.
cool. But yeah, overall
Hence
the
the title.
eeriness to it and stuff. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's just a lot of cool flavors and different,
Yes.
things on here that
Yeah.
really surprise you.
Right. Yeah. This was my number five. But no, now that you say that, I think I agree. I think this one should have ended the album. Yeah, that would have been really cool having it like that. I liked everything about this song except the chorus, and that's why it ended up kind of low for me. The chorus did not hit me right. I did not like it at all, but everything else about the song was great.
Hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so last track of the album, Two Wrongs Don't Make It Love. Number 8 for me. This one, again, um, talking about flavors, this one was more kind of bluesy. Um, but, again, they still kept it sort of heavy. Um, I do like the the fact that this was the ender of the album as well, the way they ended it, which I'm assuming was, the guitar toggle switch is the best I could guess is what that sound was.
Right.
Um, I always like more when albums have more of a definitive ending like that instead of just like a fade out, because then it kind of it sort of leaves you wanting more. And obviously here we are talking Kiss, a lot of their you think of Black Diamond, like that type of ending to an album is, I prefer those kind of endings much more. That way, like, okay, this is the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one was my number three. So I was kind of with Rochelle on this one. A lot of the ending songs for me were more of my favorites. Um, this one, the second that I heard it, all I could think of was Black Velvet by Alana Miles. I mean, just that bass line, just that's
Yeah,
exactly what it reminded me of. And I was like, it's just Black Velvet. Like, that's exactly what this is, like the bass in it. Um,
yeah. Now that you say that, you're right.
yeah. I, however, did not like the ending at all. The ending is what threw this off. Like, it made it high on my list just because the whole thing was great. But I feel like it was such a weird way to end the album. It feels like it just kind of cut off instead of ending
Yeah,
for me. Like I feel like somebody stopped it too early and then they just kind of threw that on at the end. Um, I prefer endings that end though instead of fade out more, just because like it's a definitive yes, this is the end. But for that, I don't feel like that it should have ended right there. I feel like it just got cut off.
I
So it was kind of weird to me.
I think I do agree that the ending to the previous song would have been a better fit to
Yeah.
end it. But again, I do like that at least it is more of a
A
definite
definitive.
ending
Right.
there. So
Right.
was one thing that saved it.
8 for me as well on this one. Again, not caring for the swing feel. The song felt too slow, which not only that I feel like it should just be faster for itself, but I hate it when albums end with a slow song like that.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, it takes the energy out unless it's done a certain way. And I didn't feel like this. The solo bit was kind of interesting. I think that was the only thing that stopped this one from being dead last for me. But yeah, I gotta agree that ending was terrible. I literally the bonus track started playing, and I was like, "Is this the same song?" And I flipped over, and it wasn't. It was the next one. I was like, "Wait a minute,
Oh wow.
it that was how it stopped? Come on!"
Yep.
Okay. So that's it for the album there. So what about overall ratings here? Um, well, why don't we go backwards, Luke? Why don't you start on the overall?
Okie dokie. This one was a 5 out of 5 for me. 5 out of 10, I should say. It was interesting. It was very interesting. Starting the album out, I was, pretty certain that I was gonna like this one more than the first album. Even those first two songs were my number one and two. I thought this is a great start. I think the production is better than the first album. The vocals seem to be done better than the first album. This is going to be great. But as it continued, it just kind of lost me. Starting with the lyrics for "Stop the Lightning" and just kind of spinning further and further away. It felt to me kind of like the majority of these songs just weren't as good as they should have been. Even though they were played and produced really, really well, the middle of the album was a big low for me, with "Swing Time" and "Bombastic Plastic" for me just actually being kind of hard to get through. Even "We Got the Fire" picked it back up a lot for me, but it didn't quite pick up the same speed as it had in the beginning, I felt. And then very, very weak ending with "Too Wrong," in my opinion. Uh, Especially, it felt like it should not have ended the album being slow and then just cutting off like it did.
Mhm.
However, having said all that, the album sounded great. Bruce Fairbairn and Bob Rock did a great job mixing and engineering. This album sounded just absolutely spot on. Very stereotypical 80s, but in a good way. Like I said earlier, the ballads, especially, you can kind of say "Strange Things" is balladish, but "Miss Mystery" especially, um, produced very strongly. Everything seemed mixed just perfect. Like I said earlier, you can hear the bass, which is a big thing.
Mhm.
Um, of course, the leads were a big high point in each song. Tommy really was not holding back at any point here. It doesn't sound to me like an Ace clone at all, which I think you can probably argue Sonic Boom and Monster both make you wonder, did this guy just play exactly like Ace? Here you can hear clearly not. Um, a lot of the album, especially the vocals, gave me that distinct Def Leppard feel, which, being a massive Def Leppard fan myself, definitely good. I was very happy with that. It was very well done and very well sung. Uh, Overall, why not higher? I think all of the band members, they seemed like they were playing really well, like, maybe even peaks their peak level, and the whole album was very well made. I just didn't care for the songs themselves.
Yeah. I mean, again, going back to the last Black and Blue, it's like again, Tommy is like almost overqualified for Kiss, but again, it's that whole scenario, and it just shows that that's how good he is. That he's able to, you know, play to the style of Kiss for what needs to be in Kiss. It doesn't need to sound like Black and Blue, because then it'd be like Vinnie Vincent all over again, where you got this guy overplaying everything and it doesn't fit. So I mean, again, like a lot of those Tommy naysayers out there, it's like really need to give the guy a more of a listen, especially with these Black and Blue albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I also gave this one a 5 out of 10. And that's like it's one of them albums that it's like I could definitely listen to it again, like for sure. Like this is the first time I even knew about this band at all. Like the last Black and Blue album and this one, I
Mm,
like the last one more that we did, but this one was good too. Like I could listen to it again, but I would be skipping around for sure.
right,
Um, and I mean, I love the variety that it had. Like there was so many different styles and so many things that you didn't expect to happen that happened, and I mean, so many different times it was like, oh, that was weird, that was different, but that was cool, you know. So I mean, it didn't have a higher rating for me just because I mean, I there wasn't anything that I absolutely fell in love with, like there
right.
was the last time. Like Auto Blast was a great song on the last one that we did. Like I loved that. Um, but yeah, this one just it had a few really good ones, and then the other ones, I mean, they were just okay for me. So if I listened to it again, I would probably definitely skip around on it and not listen to the whole thing. So that's why it kind of just had a middle rating for me.
I totally agree. Like, I'm not sure if there's any songs on here that really stuck to me like the first album,
Yeah,
where it's like I would specifically put on this song or this song.
yeah,
You know, maybe one or two of them possibly, but not. It wouldn't be like my first choice. As of right now, I'd probably go, to that first album as well.
yeah,
So I gave this one a 4. Um, while it's obviously not as heavy as the first album, it was still a good listen. Excuse me, and did not have any dull moments.
yeah,
Definitely more of the I hate the term, but the hair metal sound on this one, with the reverb on the drums, all the typical production tricks of the time. Definitely looking forward to the rest of the Black and Blue albums. Definitely, again, recommend you guys checking this one out, giving it a listen. But again, like we mentioned, Tommy again just shows his worth on this album. Um, and again, yes, I was a little bummed that it wasn't quite as like heavy per se, but again, I guess that's kind of what I expected because I had said that with the first album is the Black and Blues that I recall listening to weren't quite as heavy as that, and that's why it kind of caught me off guard in a good way. But definitely looking forward to revisiting those last few albums again as well, and see what they have next. So, and I'm gonna have to check out the Aerosmith cover after we're done, just to get an idea what that sounded like.
yeah.
All right, are we ready for the tallies yet, or?
Yeah, we do have a tie we need to resolve actually. For second and third place, we've got "Rockin' on Heaven's Door" and "Miss Mystery."
Hmm. So where did you guys rank each one of those?
Rockin' was my number 1 and her number 5, and then Miss Mystery was my number 4 and her number 6.
And Rockin' was my number 4. Miss Mystery was 5. So kind of sounds like Rockin' gets the edge.
I'd agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really higher from the three of us than the
right.
other.
yeah.
I agree with that.
Type that in real fast. And there we go. Real quick too, I flipped over to close out some of my tabs and Facebook opened, and there's an interesting Blabbermouth article here about Peter Criss and Eric Carr.
Yes, yes.
Did you see that?
I did, and I literally copied it, and I meant to post it onto our page, and I somehow completely forgot. I don't know what happened. But yes,
Well,
that was a really cool article.
here's your reminder.
Yeah.
Yes. So jump over to our page and you can read the article.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool.
Yeah, very cool of Peter. I know he and Eric had, they had some contact back in the days, and obviously Eric was very respectful of Peter, and you know, didn't try to overstep his boundaries or anything. And Peter had nothing but great things to say about him. So yeah, good read.
Yes, absolutely. Alrighty, so we managed to get through this without any ties there, except for the one we had to just resolve. But other than that, that's pretty handy.
Yeah.
So this did end up with an average of 5 out of 10. That's kind of funny. It ended at 5 on the nose, uh, which I think is appropriate. Pretty solidly right in the middle. Good but not great, I think is fair.
Yep.
In the number 10 spot, dead last for this week, completely unsurprisingly, is Nature of the Beach, which might win stupidest title of the year. Which truthfully probably should go to Zaz Turned Blue, but at least Zaz Turned Blue was a joke and they knew it.
Yeah, and it was actually fun to listen to.
It was. Yeah, whereas this was supposed to be serious, I guess. In the number 9 spot, Stop the Lightning. Horribly ironic for Tommy Thayer. In the number 8 spot, Bombastic Plastic. Number 7, Swing Time. In 6th place, Two Wrongs Don't Make It Love. 5th place, Without Love. In 4th place, We Got the Fire. And our top 3 for this week, in 3rd place, Miss Mystery. 2nd place, Rockin' on Heaven's Door. And our 1st place by a long shot, Strange Things.
Nice. I like
think
that.
we all just about felt the same about that.
So, of course, next week we get into Black Sabbath, 7th Star, which again was also originally meant to be Tony Iommi's solo album, but they ended up putting the Black Sabbath name on it, and of course, Eric Singer is the member featured on this album. Can't wait to get into that. I have never listened to this album. I've seen it and things, but I've just never listened to any of the music on it. Definitely looking forward to getting into some more, Sabbath that I'm not familiar with instead of the usual classic stuff that you hear all the time.
Yeah. Yes, I recall this being a very solid album. Actually, both of the Eric Singer Sabbath album, 7th Star, and the follow-up album, The Eternal Idol, I remember as being very solid.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to hearing those again. It's been a while.
And then, of course, right after that, we are right back into Black and Blue with their Nasty Nasty album.
I wonder what the titles are for that.
Bet you don't know what the first track is called.
Oh,
Is it Nasty Nasty?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Is it Nature of the Nasty Nasty?
I see there's I Want It All, I Want It Now. I almost wonder if that's a Queen cover.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll Be There For You. Oh, they do the Friends theme song.
Oh man, no. Oh no.
Yeah, there's only one more Black and Blue after that one, though, which would be In Heat, which we'll get to. We'll have a bigger space in between those two by the time we get to it.
What's that one called?
In Heat.
Yeah.
Like my cat.
Put all the titles of these Black and Blue albums together, and you have one heck of a night there.
So you Black and Blue, Without Love, Nasty Nasty, and Heat.
That's interesting. Yeah. Apparently, they also had an album called Hell Yeah later on. Must have been without Tommy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But Nasty Nasty and In Heat are the only two that I actually have physical copies of. both on vinyl, and he probably can't see it, but now you can. It's up there. I had Tommy sign my copy of that the first time we met him, so
That's
pretty cool.
yeah.
Okay, so Nasty Nasty is actually produced by Gene Simmons,
Okay,
and he has co-writes on several of these songs.
Ooh.
well that's gonna
All
be nice.
right.
And Peter Criss has vocals on it.
No kidding.
Oh, that's
That'll
cool.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh wow. Yeah. So again, fret not anymore, people. Nothing but great albums or should be good albums coming up. No more of the crap stuff. So
Yay.
come on back. Come on back. All the
I
rest of is.
I joined this podcast just in time.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
I missed
feel
most of that.
I feel like the good witch trying to draw all the munchkins out. Like, come out, come back to us.
She's gone.
Oh God! All right. So again, next week, Black Sabbath, 7 Star. Go ahead and get those votes in. Please, again, go to our Facebook page. Make sure you vote on the first round of the song battles. And I think that about does it. And hey, keep getting the votes in for all these albums. Spread the word. So that's going to do it. So until next week, we will see you later.
What has she got that the others have not? It must be that look in her eyes.